Hi, my name is Zining Jenny Wang. This is a clinical reflection video for my 435 leadership clinical experience. This video explains how the 8 objectives are met. So the objective number 1 is utilize previous knowledge of the sciences, liberal arts, information technology, and nursing to develop skills as a nurse leader. I achieved this during my peer leadership experiences between different skills labs, including the Skills for 309 lab, where we teach the underclassmen about range of motion, different ways of transferring patients, to labs for 411, which is the healthcare assessment labs, where I help my underclassmen peers learn about how to effectively do a head-to-toe exam. I was able to provide insight into different study strategies that I've used, explain different concepts and procedures, and aid in the learning process of my peers and my underclassmen. Therefore, help them build their self-confidence in their own knowledge, and nursing skills. Objective number 2 is to apply basic principles of ethics and management to meet challenges of ever-changing healthcare environment. I was able to achieve this during my experience with the prison nursing down in Collegeville, the SCI Phoenix. The prison environment is a very, very diverse environment. Not only does it have inpatient settings, it has triage outpatient type, emergency room type settings. It also has behavioral health unit, psych unit, and also hospice type services. So it's like a microcosm of the society outside, and by using principles of different ethics, such as treating everyone with respect, non-maleficence, and beneficence, I was able to have a very successful day there, treating different inmates with different issues that they're facing. Objective 3 is to demonstrate leadership skills through effective use of communication by representing self, college, and nursing in a professional manner. I was able to achieve this objective while I was at Holy Family Manor on my interprofessional day. Due to the nature of the facility, I was in a setting where it's very much about teamwork and interprofessional teamwork. I was able to put in some of my 2 cents during their departmental meetings, and work with the nursing staff, managers, IT, HR, even their CEO, and work on developing different methods of cutting down cost in order to make patient care more efficient and effective. Objective 4 is critically evaluate and disseminate current research related to principles of leadership and effects on the healthcare system. So this objective is achieved by looking at 2 different articles. They're both current researches. One is on the ethics of prison nursing, which interestingly, because I'm going into SCI Phoenix for a day, I found this article about the different ethical dilemmas that prison nurses face, which kind of helped me mentally prepare myself before going into prison nursing. The other article is about nursing on strike, which we'll touch on a little bit on nurse-patient safety ratio later on in another objective. Objective 5 is to function as a competent patient advocate, nurse advocate, and change agent. I was able to achieve this objective during my volunteering experience at Mayfair at Cedar Crest College. I was volunteering at the tent where we teach people about mainly type 1 diabetes, but also type 2 diabetes. I was able to educate people on the impact of diabetes on an individual and their family, and advocate for families to get screened early and to engage in fun exercises and activities to promote their wellness, and talk about healthy diet and how to prevent diabetes, and if you already have diabetes, how to prevent it from getting worse. Objective 6, formulate plans for continued personal leadership growth and development as an independent practitioner of nursing and contributing member of society. During my day with the advanced practitioner, I was able to observe the different types of roles that nurses can advance into, not only as clinical roles, but also managerial roles, such as advanced practitioners, nurse practitioners, or different types of managers or even educators. This also applies to patient logistics. When I was there watching what bedboard does, I was able to see that experienced ICU nurses, even though that they have the skill set for critical thinking and all the nursing knowledge, even though they're not directly bedside with the patients, they are able to use their critical thinking skills and determine priority of treatment and transfer for these patients to maximally benefit these patients. Objective 7, recognize role of the nurse in policy making related to healthcare services at local, state, and global levels. This was achieved when my classmates and I went to Harrisburg for our political day. We met up with PSNA and we discussed the importance of, say, patient to nurse ratio. PSNA has helped a lot of policies been come to fruition to help patient safety, and this at that time when we went in May, this was a really big one, House Bill 106. It's called Patient Safety Act. It's to advocate a safe nurse to patient ratio, not only to advocate for patient safety, but also to advocate for staffing safety, nurses safety, and to decrease the burnt out of nurses, having more nurses return to bedside and provide care for people. Interestingly, the House Bill 106, which is Patient Safety Act, Care Act, has been passed by the Pennsylvania State House with a vote of 119 to 84. So it does show that being there really helps. We're able to showcase our personal stories and experiences, make our experiences more personable to lawmakers who most of the time may not have experiences in healthcare settings. Objective 8, predict and describe potential ethical dilemmas within clinical, organizational, and professional nursing practice. This was achieved during my day shadowing the nurse supervisor. Nursing supervisors has a role that's very important because sometimes they have to deal with staffing. Again, how do we advocate for both patients and nurses to have a safe patient to nurse safety ratio while working with so many people being sick? Wintertime, you may have an increased numbers of people having strokes and heart attacks. Summertime, you may have increased numbers of accidents happening. So nurse supervisors play a very important role in terms of determining where resources go and how to advocate for different units in the hospital to protect both patients and nurses. So a lot of times they run into ethical dilemmas because there are only so much resources in the hospital, and how do we determine who gets an extra nurse or who gets to be floated and which unit gets another tech or a PCA. So that was an interesting day to see and follow the nursing supervisor and how they do their job so well to maintain the peace of the hospital. So 3 references that I'm going to use to describe my experience as a whole. One is ANA Code of Ethics Provision 1, which talks all about the nurses acting as professionals and treating everyone with respect regardless of their background. So before going into the prison experience, Hope Mealy Family Manor, even Camelot for Children, I had some personal biases of what the experiences may turn out to be. However, according to the ANA Code of Ethics, in order to be a good nurse, I need to be able to check my personal biases at the door before every patient interaction and every experience. So Provision 1 definitely speaks a lot to my experiences throughout this whole clinical process. And in Code of Ethics, Provision 3 is all about privacy, and this holds true with every single clinical experience that I had in the future in this class and continue into the future, because privacy is such an important thing, and as a human being myself, I would like my privacy to be respected also. So in the future, as a student nurse and graduate nurse and becoming more experienced nurses, that's something that I will make sure to take with me every step of the way. We also talked about leadership styles in our class, in our leadership 435 class, and I was able to observe this during my events practitioner day. The nurse I was with is an events practitioner, and she took on an education role for the whole hospital of that specific campus, and I observed her being an emotional yet a very authoritative leader. She was able to effectively communicate with her peers and people above and below her using empathy, by letting them know that, yes, I've been in your shoes, or I can relate to you. However, she was also very authoritative and giving a stern deadline in terms of when forms need to be turned in, when things need to be submitted in order for the hospital to work as a well-oiled machine. So these are my experiences and different references that relate to my clinical experiences. Hope for more future experiences, and I'll take all of these as learning experiences with me forward into my nursing career.